We just heard that slogan, Make America Great Again. There's a guy who was there from the get-go, former Trump campaign manager, Carryn Lewandowski. Carryn, good morning to you.
Hey, Carryn, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you guys today?
We're doing great. We're talking about the president's big speech last night. Apparently, we've heard members of Congress actually gave the president rave reviews to himself, and the president himself is very pleased with how the speech went. Is that accurate?
Look, I think he had a phenomenal speech last night. When you look at all of the reviews, whether it's the Washington Post, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, they all said the same thing. This was a great speech. It was forward-thinking. It was a speech which united the American people. And I think if you had to grade it, and your earlier guests have done this, they've both given it A's on both sides of the political spectrum. So I have to agree with that.
So, Carryn, what did he do differently last night? Compare that last night's address to his inauguration speech.
You know, the inauguration speech, in my opinion, was one where he reminded the American people of the trouble that we face. And he laid out his vision during that inauguration address of how to fix that. But what we saw last night was a very human side of Donald Trump, whether it's Jamil Shah, who we have known for a long time and has been an integral part of the campaign, who brought the issue of illegal immigration directly to us and talked about it, and the emotional nature of recognizing the bride of the Navy officer who was killed. You know, that's Donald Trump. That's bringing the empathy and the understanding of how difficult America's lives are sometimes to the American people. And you can be a Republican, you can be a Democrat, but what you can't be is against protecting American lives. And what Donald Trump has said and what he outlined was the military is going to have the resources that they need to be successful. We're going to have an immigration system which is going to make sure that it is merit-based and that people are coming here for the right reasons, so that in the future, people like Jamil Shah's son won't be killed by illegals who are in this country illegally.
Carryn, you know, it's going to be interesting if a year from now, if that speech is probably not going to have as big a viewership, if history is something to learn from, because the first one gets the most viewers. However, if he could say, I did tax reform, got rid of and replaced Obamacare, and then, of course, the economy's on a roll, that speech will write itself. But since he didn't walk in with these big policy papers, a lot of his success, don't you agree, comes from, will the Republicans in the House and Senate get together and put this stuff forward? Will they be taking advantage of this opportunity?
Well, you're exactly right, Brian, and they have to take advantage of the opportunity. The American people sent a wholesale change agent to Washington, D.C., and Donald Trump. And what they said is the politics of usual for the last 30 years in Washington are no more. We want someone who's going to go in and be the CEO of our country. He's looking at programs where the government spent too much money, and he's going to shrink those programs to make sure that we're getting the best use of our tax dollars. He said to Congress, I want wholesale and fundamental change in the tax structure, the first one since 1986, so that we can put more money in American people's pockets. Right. I want to make sure that we repeal and replace Obamacare, because it's a broken system where premiums have increased over 100% in some places, and it's no longer affordable. Donald Trump is empowering Congress to work with him to get these things done, because that's what the American people have asked for.
Now, Carryn, we sat down with him on Monday, and we were asking him to grade himself from an A to an F, and he said an A for achievement. And Steve said, I think I know how you're going to grade yourself. Probably an A+.
Hello.
But he said, you'll be surprised, I will give myself a C when it comes to my messaging. And we said, how are you going to change that? He said, I'm going to change it tonight. Do we have that soundbite? We'll let you. Okay, let's play this, and then we'll get your reaction.
I think in terms of effort, which means something, but I give myself an A+. Okay, effort, but that's, results are more important. In terms of messaging, I would give myself a C or a C+.
Why?
In terms of achievement, I think I'd give myself an A, because I think I've done great things, but I don't think I and my people, I don't think we've explained it well enough to the American public. I think I get an A in terms of what I've actually done, but in terms of messaging, I'd give myself a C or a C+.
What was happening behind the scenes? I mean, you used to work with the campaign. Were they all meeting and saying, all right, the left thinks I'm racist, or the left thinks that I'm going to break families apart? Were they saying, let's make it clear to them that that is not who I am as a person?
Well, I think what the president is talking about there is that, look, the immigration rollout and the first executive order that he did as it related to immigration was not done as well as it could have been. I think the administration recognizes that. And while they agree that the executive order is wholly and legally accurate and the Ninth Circuit is legislating from the bench, I think that the messaging component of it wasn't done well, and they spent 2 or 3 days trying to decipher how to do that better. And I think what you'll see this week is a new executive order on immigration, which has now been vetted through the agencies. More people understand what that exactly means, and that will be allowing for a better rollout. I think that's what he means by messaging. He has done more in the first 40 days through executive orders, putting coal miners back to work, reducing regulations, getting us out of the TPP, all of those things. His effort is 100%. There's no question about it. But messaging it to the American people is very different, and his team has to do a better job doing that.
Well, his message last night was clear. He wants to get stuff done, and he needs Congress's help. All right, Corey, thank you very much. Have a great day. Thanks for dropping by.
Thank you, guys. Thanks.
All right, meanwhile, straight ahead, President Trump making a play to the middle to get Democrats on board with fixing Obamacare. But our next guest is working to make the plan of the president a reality. House Majority Whip Steve Scalise reacts live next.
And what did you think about last night's speech? Abby Huntsman having breakfast in Virginia. If you want to talk to Abby, go there, and she'll talk to you. And we're going to find out.
That...